A day after Sanjay Dutt was sentenced to 5 years in jail, actors, jurists have demanded that he be shown mercy. Justice Markanday Katju, the Chief of the Press Council of India, was the first of the bloc, writing to the Maharashtra Chief Minister asking for him to use his powers to grant a pardon to the Bollywood superstar. However, this is not being taken lightly by the relatives of the victims. They're saying, why is a VVIP convict getting so much sympathy? Take a look at this.
In my opinion, the governor, on the advice of Chief Minister, should grant pardon to Sanjay Dutt.
You know, he's already been punished enough. 20 years is almost like, life imprisonment. And I'm going to personally go and appeal to the governor.
बहुत लोगों की सहानुभूति है संजय दत्त, मेरी पर्सनल सहानुभूति भी संजय दत्त के साथ है.
Emotions running high as the demand for mercy for Sanjay Dutt only grows louder. Justice Katju's appeal kicking up a storm, dividing not only political parties but legal luminaries as well.
In my opinion, the governor, on the advice of Chief Minister, should grant pardon to Sanjay Dutt.
The Supreme Court, after the lower courts have held him guilty, why should the Supreme Court judgment be overturned?
Dutt can file a mercy petition for pardon under Article 72, which empowers the President here to grant pardon, suspend or remit commute sentence. Well, that is the prerogative of the President. Sanjay Dutt can exercise that option. Well, the other option that Sanjay Dutt can exercise is to move the governor. Final option is filing an application before the state government.
Pardon और reprieve की जो अधिकार हैं, वो गवर्नर के पास होते हैं. वो एप्लीकेशन के मुताबिक जो उचित गवर्नर समझेंगे वो कर सकते हैं.
The Congress for now evading questions on the issue. The BJP gunning for Katju.
I'm sure that those people within government, whether the state government level or at the level of various other instrumentalities of government, who are seized with the responsibility of dealing with this issue, would take that statement into cognizance.
Simply because his father was related to the ruling party, simply because he is a rich and a famous man, and if he goes unpunished because of all these reasons and doesn't get the punishment.
He's already been punished enough. 20 years is almost like, life imprisonment.
But while overwhelming support pours in for the actor, another accused is facing rigorous imprisonment for 5 years for a crime similar to Dutt's in the 1993 serial blast case.
Zebunissa's counsel has informed headlines today that unlike Sanjay Dutt, who, notwithstanding the fact that he later retracted his confession, had in the first place confessed under TADA, his client has neither made a confession nor has she pleaded guilty, but will still suffer a 5-year-long rigorous imprisonment term. Of course, we are not discounting the alleged complicity of Zebunissa in the crime.
This lady never confessed. Nothing was recovered from her house.
A sentiment vociferously shared by the victims of the Mumbai serial blast.
तो माफी तो उसे मुझे भी नहीं लगता कि नहीं मिलनी चाहिए.
And a reality forgotten, at least for now, by Bollywood.
We all are very upset. We, in support, will do as much as we can and what we can.
With Jugal Purohit, Vedika Sachdeva for Headlines Today.
In just a moment from now, we'll have Majid Memon and Justice Markanday Katju on the one side squaring off against Subramanian Swamy and MNCing the officer who actually went and arrested Sanjay Dutt. But before I go across and start this center stage debate, which is being discussed all across the country this evening, I want to focus on the specific charges against Sanjay Dutt for which he's been convicted. Why is it that so many people feel that he deserves sympathy? Because if you actually look at the charges, he's been found guilty of some very, very grave sins indeed. The charge for which he's been convicted: acquired and kept 3 AK-56 rifles, 500 live ammunition cartridges and grenades. He kept weapons for almost 1 full week, destroyed 2 AK-56 rifles, had asked for weapons from gangster Anis Ibrahim. There are also telephone records which show that he was in direct touch with the 1993 blast conspirators, the key masterminds of this attack. There are records which show that Sanjay Dutt was in touch with them. Let's compare these charges with Zaibunisa Qazi. She's the one who actually came and delivered the weapons. She was the courier, but she got prosecuted under TADA. Charges against her was that she was the courier who actually came and gave the AK-56 rifles and the ammunition grenades to Sanjay Dutt. She's the courier. She went and delivered. She got booked under charge. Sanjay Dutt did not get booked under TADA. She allowed her house to be used as a transit point for the weapons to be couriered further. She was not fully aware of the contents of the bag with the ammunition. Despite that, she's been found guilty, whereas Sanjay Dutt knew fully what is it that he was getting. She also stored these weapons for a lesser time than Sanjay Dutt. So she's been found guilty under TADA, whereas Sanjay Dutt has not. Now that is the case. That's the reality. The courier booked under TADA, Sanjay Dutt getting a far more lenient sentence. Is Bollywood superstar Sanjay Dutt a Gandhian with a gun? Does he deserve mercy? Does he deserve a pardon? Joining us on the center stage face of the man who sparked a national debate, Justice Markanday Katju, Chairman of the Press Council of India. With us also Dr. Subramanian Swamy, National President of the Janata Party, Majid Ahmed, criminal lawyer, a man who understands the ins and outs of the 1993 Mumbai bomb blast case. Also M.N. Singh, former Commissioner of Mumbai, who's tracked the investigations in this case very, very closely. I want to go across first to Justice Markanday Katju, who's written an impassioned plea saying that Sanjay Dutt should be given a pardon by the governor. A lot of people would say, sir, that you're being sympathetic to a VVIP convict. The highest court in the land has found Sanjay Dutt guilty. He must pay for what he's done. Why are you sympathetic towards the superstar, sir?
It is not a question of a superstar. In fact, I have not seen a film for the last 40 years. I have not met any film stars. I am not interested in film stars. If I feel that for humanitarian reasons I can help somebody, whether he's a film star or non-celebrity is wholly immaterial. I will try to help if I feel that for humanitarian grounds the person should be helped. And I feel in this case, because he has already suffered a lot, he has spent 18 months in jail, for 20 years he has been running around, he had to attend courts and face various harassments, he has 2 small children, and also he has done good social work, his parents did good social work. So I thought that on humanitarian grounds the governor should grant him pardon, the way Commander Nanavati was granted, who was held guilty of murder right up to the Supreme Court, and where the minimum sentence is life sentence. Yet he was pardoned by the governor on humanitarian consideration. Okay, so on humanitarian grounds,
you've set up this debate, sir. Yes. You're saying justice is 20 years after the crime actually took place. He and his family have done a lot of social work. He's already spent 18 months in jail, and he's essentially a good human being, and therefore he suffered enough, Dr. Swamy. Justice Markanday Katju makes the impassioned plea that Sanjay Dutt deserves the governor's pardon.
Well, you see, Justice Markanday Katju is one of our distinguished judges. He's also an original thinker. His work on the Mimamsa school of logic as opposed to the Maxwell Western school of logic in judicial matters is an extremely original thought. So I speak with enormous respect for him. But I will say that that's his appreciation of why he should be given a pardon. As everybody knows, it's a constitutional power of either the governor or the president, and it's subject to judicial review. In the case of Mr. Sanjay Dutt, this matter was gone fully into on all the aspects. In fact, he's got a much lighter sentence than he would have got if he was anybody else. And there is no doubt that there's enough evidence which they could not contradict in cross-examination, that he had connections with the underworld. He had long conversations with Shakil Ahmed, or whatever his name is, Chota Shakil.
the weapons that he got, AK-47. What is the cinema star doing with the AK-47? I don't understand. And this was given to him by Abu Salim, and these are all there, and yet he has been not been considered as to be prosecutable under the Terrorist Act. I think 3.5 years in jail would do him good. He could reflect on it. If he's such a good man, he can reform like Valmiki. He can come back and become somebody very good for society.
Majid Memon, Section 25(1)(a) of the Arms Act states that if a person is found possessing a prohibited weapon without a license, he shall be awarded punishment of not less than 5 years imprisonment and not more than 10 years. Many would argue, sir, that Sanjay Dutt has already been given a lenient sentence. 5 years is the minimum. He's already been given a lenient sentence and therefore deserves no more leniency than this. Investigator on this case, you're saying Sanjay Dutt hasn't been convicted of planting the bombs, of being involved in the conspiracy. His actions are not terrorist actions or disruptive actions, Mr. M.N. Singh. Therefore, Justice Katju and Majid Memon argue that Sanjay Dutt deserves the nation's sympathy and the governor's pardon.
I would like to say in the very beginning that somehow the media has created an impression that I am his main tormentor because I am the man who arrested him and charge sheeted him and prosecuted him. But let me tell the country that I am neither Sanjay Dutt's friend nor his enemy. I did my job as a professional policeman. I placed the facts and the evidence before the court, and the rest was to be done by the court, and the court has done its job. Now, as far as Justice Katju's remarks are concerned, I have a high regard for him, but I would beg to differ with him because I read his views in the Times of India today, and I will pick up the points that he has advanced in favor of Sanjay Dutt.
Yes.
One, he has said that Sanjay Dutt, through his film Munna Bhai, this Gandhigiri, has promoted the ideology of Mahatma Gandhi. I think it will be demeaning the father of the nation to compare him with a person like Sanjay Dutt, who is a convict. Now, you see, and I think it is a very frivolous argument. That is number one. Number two is that he has talked about the Commander Nanavati's case. Let me tell you, Nanavati was a naval officer and he was betrayed by his own friend, taking advantage of his prolonged absence on duty. His friend developed an illicit relationship with his wife and that resulted in his murder by Nanavati.
Yes.
It was an individual crime, a crime of passion, and therefore he took a revenge. Now, in this case, as you know, that in the serial blast case, there are 100 convicts. In this case, if Sanjay Dutt had shown the mercy on the same ground, I think it will be nothing less than an insidious discrimination, which is a wrong, which is not allowed under the law itself. Though I agree with Justice Katju that the governor has powers under Article 161 to grant pardon, etc., etc. But I think in this case it will be a case of example of utter discrimination, and therefore it is faulted on that logic. Now, the third logic that he has advanced is that Sanjay Dutt has not been convicted of a terrorist crime, and I think this is a very important point. Now, but I am basically not in agreement with the judgment itself, because in my opinion, he ought to have been convicted under the TADA, because Section 5 of the TADA Act simply says that any person who is found in illegal possession of arms of certain types in a notified area, which is what he did, then he will be punished as a terrorist. Now, once he has been found guilty under the Arms Act for illegally possessing those types of weapons in Mumbai city, which was a notified city, automatically he ought to have been convicted under the TADA Act also.
Yes, I want to put each of your arguments to Justice Katju. Because look at what Sanjay Dutt was caught with. 500 live bullets, an AK-56 assault rifle, a 9mm pistol, along with several phone calls to Abu Salem, Anis Ibrahim and several others who are a key part of this conspiracy. The lead investigator on the case says giving Sanjay Dutt a pardon would be an insidious act of discrimination, Justice Markanday Katju.
There is no doubt that Sanjay Dutt has been found guilty of possessing a prohibited weapon without a license, and for that he has been punished by the Supreme Court. he has not been found guilty of any terrorist act or any connection with the Bombay blast. Yes, the Supreme Court has given 5 years punishment because that was the minimum prescribed under the Arms Act. But you see, pardon proceedings are different from the criminal judicial proceedings. Even if there is a minimum prescribed, like in the case of Commander Nanavati, the minimum prescribed for murder is life sentence, and he was given life sentence by the Supreme Court. Yet the governor pardoned him. So even when there are cases where death sentence was awarded, they have been pardoned. In this case, taking a humanitarian view, he has done something foolish, that is right. But that was 20 years ago. Now, considering the fact he has 2 small children, considering the fact that he has already spent
everybody
18
has
months
children,
in jail,
Justice Katju. I want to quote to you what 55-year-old Kirti Ajmera told us. She was seriously injured in the 93 blast and operated on more than 40 times. She said about Sanjay Dutt's sentence that, if a pardon is given, it would set an example to high-profile personalities that they can escape the law after committing a crime. She said, why is your heart bleeding for a VVIP prisoner or a VVIP convict and not for an ordinary man on the ground? Why should Sanjay Dutt deserve mercy and a pardon when nobody else will, sir? Everybody has children, everybody has a family.
May I answer you?
Yes, please, Justice.
There are 2 separate issues you have raised.
Yes,
firstly, that as if I said that because he has 2 children, small children, therefore that alone is the ground on which I have prayed for pardon. No, there are 5 other grounds. Please read all of them cumulatively. Small children, just one of them. There are 5 other grounds I have mentioned in my appeal. So it is not that just on one ground I am asking for pardon. All of them taken together. And as I told you, I am least impressed by celebrity status. You bring a case before me of a total non-entity, a poor man, a worker, a small man, and if you satisfy me that he requires humanitarian help, I will do it. I will go out of my way. In the case of Gopal Das, the person who was in Pakistani jail for 25 years, I issued an appeal to the Pakistan president, and on my appeal, he was released.
Okay, Dr. Swamy, do you find Sanjay Dutt playing the role of Munna Bhai of a Gandhian as a contributory factor? You are laughing, but Justice Katju and Majid Memon say it's one of the contributory factors for why he deserves mercy. Subramanian Swamy.
It is laughable because I know so many cinema stars, the role they play on the screen is totally opposite to the life they lead. It's got nothing to do with his commitment to Gandhi. I haven't seen any such thing outside the film. Film is a make-believe. Now what we find is that Justice Katju has admitted that he has really only one reason, and there are 6 dimensions to it. He doesn't want to separate any of them on its own. He says you have to see it all together. Frankly, what the thing is that the power of the president or the power of the governor is dependent on his appreciation of the fact that the plea made for his commuting of his sentence or for pardon should be not arbitrary. Here it is totally arbitrary. Why him? As M.N. Singh pointed out, there are 100 people.
Absolutely.
They all can have these kinds of reasons. Second, it is totally unreasonable. If the Supreme Court says we are helpless in the sense that we can't reduce his sentence to less than 5 because of the statute, well, they could have acquitted him. That would have been 0 years. Obviously, whether 4 years or 3 years is better than 5 years, that's an arguable point. But what is important is that he has to serve a sentence for having possessed weapons which he ought not to have. He's as a cinema star, he should not have been having weapons at all. So therefore, what is it? Finally, there is a question of malafide or bias, that if Sanjay Dutt gets the reprieve, then the message will go that it was because he was a cinema star, and there's already a feeling that the law is meant for celebrities, cinema stars, ministers.
Rahul, may I reply to this, Rahul?
No, you've talked a very important debate.
What is the harm in serving
Dr.
3.5 years?
That's right. Majid Memon, Justice Katju, both must respond to this. Majid has his hand up. If Sanjay Dutt gets a reprieve, a message will go. If you're high and powerful and mighty, somebody like Justice Katju or some benefactor will come and help you. The poor man doesn't have someone else, but somebody will come and help you. Just Majid Memon first.
Yeah, Rahul, my friend Mr. Swamy would note the difference between Sanjay Dutt and 99 others. That is what I said at the very opening, that Sanjay Dutt is the only person convict before Supreme Court who was not found guilty under TADA or had anything to be found in connection with those blasts. Therefore, 99
was a
cases were
concession.
different, although they are poor. That's all. That's all.
No, MN saying, do you buy Dr. Swamy's argument that if Sanjay Dutt, on the back of this debate and the public sympathy that is being built, were to get a reprieve, a message would go that you can be found with an AK-56, but because you've got powerful parents, your sister is a MP in the Lok Sabha, somebody somewhere will come to help you. You know, that same pardon is not available to other people. If you're a VVIP convict, somebody will come and help you. Do you think a wrong message will go to society, Mr. MN Singh?
Well, Rahul, you are stating the obvious, and I don't think it need to a ratification from me. What you are saying is what most people think. You see, it is said that justice should be tempered with mercy, but in this case, is it a mercy or a favor? I mean, when there are 100 people who have been convicted in the same case and identical cases, similar cases for possession of arms, many people were convicted under the TADA. In this case, he has been not convicted under the TADA. As I maintain that, in my opinion, my humble opinion, he should have been convicted under the TADA, because the law itself says that. There's nothing more. There is no need for any intention or intent or anything else. The mere possession itself, and therefore, I feel that if the CBI had gone in appeal, I'm sure the Supreme Court would have certainly. But let me also tell you, in the Supreme Court judgment, the Supreme Court has said that the crime of Sanjay Dutt is of a very serious nature.
True.
Whether he has been convicted under TADA or not, besides, but Supreme Court has observed that his crime is very serious. If that is so, I think to think of all these kinds of mercy and fair favor, whatever you may call it, I think it seems to be rather misplaced sympathy.
Misplaced sympathy, you're saying.
Wrong signal.
Wrong signal, misplaced sympathy, Justice Katju. If on the back of your campaign, Sanjay Dutt gets a reprieve, a message will go in society that if you are a VVIP convict, somebody like Justice Katju will come and help you and you will get a reprieve. MN Singh says this is misplaced sympathy for someone who's been held guilty of a crime of a serious nature.
And may I add, before he answers, Justice Katju answers,
yes,
that message will also go out that it doesn't matter if you have friends like Dawood Ibrahim, Anish Ibrahim and
yes, Abu
Shakil and etc. etc.
See, he has suffered a lot. Now, can't you have any human feelings? See, it is not that he's got off scot-free. He has suffered a lot. So please
let MN Singh respond. That he's already suffered a lot for the last 20 years. He's already served 18 months in prison. Yes, he was guilty, but what he suffered is enough punishment, Mr. MN Singh argues, Justice Katju, for the crime that Sanjay Dutt committed. Mr. MN Singh.
Well, yes, of course, he has spent 16 months in the jail as an under trial in the beginning when the investigation was in progress. And it is also a fact that he has been attending the courts and all that, but these are very insignificant grounds. I think that applies to all the other accused who were similarly prosecuted in this case. And if one goes by that logic, I mean, everybody else should be given the benefit of the same pardon. True. Let me tell you, Sanjay Dutt is a very strong, powerful, rich person for whom there are so many people willing to shed tears. But what about those people who are so poor, whose families have also similarly suffered? Then nobody talks about that. Nobody even cares to look into their cases. This man, since he is a celebrity, his cases, they are all over in the media, and therefore he draws the attention of the high and mighty of the country and gets sympathy. Why do the same people, or Justice Katju does not go and meet all these people, other convicts in the jail, and looks into their cases and similarly takes up? If all were to be released, probably we may all agree. But I think this is nothing but a complete interference with the judicial process and a mockery of the justice system, and this cannot be supported, whatever be the attending circumstances in the case of Mr. Sanjay Dutt. I'm sorry, Mr. Justice Katju, I cannot agree with you.
Very compelling arguments, Justice Katju. You must respond to MN Singh because he's strong, powerful and rich. Therefore, he's attracting so much attention. What about the poor convicts in this case? They have suffered as well. Justice Katju.
See, I told you two things. Firstly, their cases are different. They were connected with the bomb blast, whereas Sanjay Dutt is not connected with bomb blast. And secondly, you bring me the facts of any case, I will take it up.
No, but nobody brought you the Sanjay Dutt case either. Justice Katju, with respect, you took this up of your own accord. MN Singh says, why don't you look at the other 99 cases? You haven't done it. Nobody brought the Sanjay Dutt case to you.
No, I saw it on the media, and let Mr. MN Singh bring that to me. If he satisfies me that injustice has been done, I can assure him that I will take it up. So please, Mr. MN Singh, don't be under the misconception that I take up cases.
No, but why will MN Singh? He's the lead prosecutor on the case. He's the main investigator. He's the one who sent them to jail. Why would he try and plead for mercy? But the point that is being asked, Justice Katju, which you are not responding to, is that if a VVIP convict gets mercy. I will recommend
one case.
Yes, Swamy. Yes, Dr. Swamy.
I will recommend one case to Justice Katju. Sadhvi Pragya, who is suffering on a bogus case of so-called Hindu terror, he should take that up.
Okay, I don't want this debate.
Great misery.
Saffron terror is a whole different debate. Just Dr. Swamy, with respect, let's not get derailed. No, I'm happy to have that debate. We're the ones who broke the story. I am willing to have that debate. But this will completely get derailed because I'm trying to get Mr. Katju to speak on the issue which is not answering. Justice Katju, with respect, the question that was asked which you dodged is this. If Sanjay Dutt gets mercy or pardon, will a message not go that if you are a VIP convict, because you are strong, rich and powerful, as MN Singh says, someone will come and help you out. He says this same help will not be available to any other prisoner. Because Sanjay Dutt is VIP, therefore we are having this debate. Let's face it, that's the fact. Otherwise you wouldn't have spoken about anybody else. That's the point MN Singh is arguing, sir. That's what you must respond to. Just he's asking you about this specific case where other persons have suffered as much. Other convicts have suffered as much. It's been 20 years for all of them, sir. It's not just 20 years have lapsed for Sanjay Dutt. It's been 20 years for every single convict in this case. Why is your heart, he asks, bleeding only for Sanjay Dutt?
May I answer you now with your permission?
Yes, sir. Justice Katju, please.
You please give me details, send me the details of those other persons. And let me see, I will study the details. If I am satisfied that injustice has been done or on humanitarian ground I should issue appeal, I will do it. I am making an offer right here and now. So please do it.
Majid wants to make a point.
Yes. Rahul, you are again making a mistake by saying that there were 100 others. Please give us, other than Sanjay Dutt, any other case out of those 99 who have not been held guilty under TADA or have not been found connected with those 13 blasts, and yet he has suffered for 20 years. We'll take up.
No, but why does the suffering of Sanjay Dutt bleed your heart so much, Majid Mehman?
Because,
you know, he was found talking, there are incriminating phone calls with Abu Salem, Anis Ibrahim and others. Why is it that your heart bleeds only for a VVIP convict?
Rahul, what Mr. Singh says, you are trying to repeat that he is dissatisfied with the verdict. I can only say sorry to him. Because once Supreme Court decides something finally, and as a police officer, ex-police officer says that I am not agreeing with it, there should have been a punishment.
That's not my question to you, Majid Mehman. No, my question has nothing to do with what MN Singh said. My question is, there is...
What are you saying? What is your question?
No, Mr.
Rahul, what is your question?
Let's hear from MN Singh.
I am not even for a moment...
Yes, Mr. Singh, go on, complete your argument.
I am not even for a moment blaming the Supreme Court. I am not putting the blame on the Supreme Court at all. Please don't misrepresent me. I am only saying that the CBI should have gone in appeal, and I am sure if the CBI had gone in appeal, Supreme Court would have certainly considered that trial court's verdict. That's what I'm saying, because this matter was never brought before the Supreme Court. In fact, I said, and that point is not brought in the debate, that Supreme Court has been very...
Justice Katju, quick final comments, please.
What is Mr. Subramanian Swamy saying? What about Nanavati? He was sentenced to life imprisonment by the Supreme Court, and yet he was granted pardon by the governor. What is you talking? There are cases where death sentence was granted and then still pardon was granted. Mr. Subramanian Swamy is not talking the correct facts. You see, in this case,
Rahul,
it is true he deserves punishment. He has been given punishment.
Let Justice Katju complete, please. Majid Memon, let Justice Katju complete.
This is
Rahul, no, let Justice Katju complete his argument, Majid Memon. Yes, Justice Katju.
See, in this case, I have repeatedly said I have nothing to do with celebrity status. I have issued so many appeals for non-celebrities, and Sanjay Dutt has suffered enough. Don't you have any humanitarian feelings for him? The man has suffered for 20 years. He has been to jail. He has suffered.
May I have 1 minute, Rahul?
Please go ahead.
Rahul, may I have?
Go ahead, please, quickly.
Yeah, Rahul, I have heard Mr. Subramanian Swamy, my friend, last now saying that if the governor or the president is wise, he would reject this petition. I would only say in lighter vein that Mr. Swamy, we know that Mr. Swamy is not the governor or the president, and the definition of wisdom or justice may probably be different from.
You will appeal against the appeal, Dr. Swamy? You will appeal against the appeal?
Yes, of course.
There you go.
Absolutely. Give a wrong judgment. The president gives a wrong judgment. I will go in the court.
Justice Katju, you have competition and appeal against your appeal. Two very strongly articulated points of view, completely divergent, of course. I don't wish to weigh in one way or the other. Is Sanjay Dutt a Gandhian who was caught with a gun? Or is he someone who was so close to the terrorist, he's been convicted and therefore must serve out his sentence? It's a deeply divisive issue. I wish that you decide. You've heard from four very articulate voices. You decide where you stand. For the time being, Justice Markanday Katju, Majid Memon, Subramanian Swamy and M.N. Singh joining us on a very engaging center stage face-off this evening. Thank you very much, gentlemen.